Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Ever since Chud the Bigot was arrested for attempted murder, there has been an uptick of uncivilized mutts trying to copy him. Yeah, fam, they're trying to behave in such a way that garners them some attention. You know, maybe they can shoot a black person, you know, try to get a free kill and get some free money while they're at it. Yeah, because you know, his Give, Send, Go account has exceeded $300,000. Yeah. America is really good at rewarding bad behavior. Remember the Confederacy? You remember they actually reimbursed slave owners after they lost the Civil War. They lost the Civil War and they gave slave owners reparations. They also gave reparations to businesses and those who were in the business of slave trading. Reparations. Yeah, fam. Ooh-wee. So America has a long sordid history of rewarding bad behavior. They also put these uncivilized mutts on statues, on school buildings. Yeah, federal buildings. Yeah, they tried to overthrow the government. They lost. In fact, they killed tens of thousands of Americans, right? They killed. And after everything was over, after the dust was settled, they said, okay, we're going to give y'all reparations for what we did to y'all. Not reparations to the people who endured slavery, but to their captors. Yeah, fam. So let me bring you up to speed if you're not familiar with Chud the Builder. Check this out.
Social media personality known as Chud the Builder finds himself in hot water testing the limits of our rights. In this week's Ask Isaacs, Lori Tucker takes questions about the case to legal analyst Greg Isaacs.
Greg, thank you for joining us.
Lori, it's good to be here.
We are in the newsroom. It looks a little different right now. This is normally where we do our live stream every Wednesday at 1:30, and we decided to keep it in here for this segment because it's pretty appropriate when we're talking about a guy who is known as quite the provocateur on his live streams on X. And
let me just stop real quickly, fam. This woman called a bona fide racist, uncivilized mutt simply a provocateur.
Chud the Builder, he is known as a rage baiter. Let's talk more about what he has done in the past and the trouble that he is in right now when it comes to attempted murder charges.
Chud the Builder has a significant following on X, and he's a rage baiter. What he does is he'll approach pedestrians, use very salacious language, typically with a racial overtone, and then try to get a reaction. Chud the Builder, a.k.a. Dalton Eatherly, took that little act outside the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Just a few weeks ago,
and he encountered an African-American individual that was a military veteran. They were engaging in some words. The warrants say that Eatherly took a bladed stance, kind of like this, removed a firearm from his jacket pocket and began to fire, injuring the other individual and also shooting himself in the arm. And he's charged with some serious criminal offenses, Lori.
Let's go down that list. First, as I mentioned earlier, is attempted murder. Also, we have aggravated assault, employment of a firearm during a dangerous felony, reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, and his bond is set at $1.25 million. Why such a high bond?
Well, because, you know, one of the main factors in a bond is to reasonably assure someone's appearance, but also to ensure the safety of the community. And one thing that the judge focused in on was that all the people in that courtyard area,
there were several bystanders.
Bystanders were placed in danger by this reckless conduct, but serious charges: attempted homicide, 25 years; aggravated assault, 3 to 6 years; reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon, 1 to 2 years; employment of a firearm, another offense that is going to be stacked on top. But here's what's going to be interesting as this case plays out in the Montgomery County Courthouse. So if you are the prosecution, you are going to try to establish Eatherly's intent, his mens rea, and you want to open up his live stream. Prior bad acts, 404B evidence, we talk about it all the time.
And the defense is going to try to
And they're
quash
gonna say,
that.
not so fast. We're going to rely on self-defense because we were defending ourselves during the middle of this altercation on the courthouse steps. But you know, it'll be interesting because they'll want that salacious content in to prove Eatherly's mens rea and state of mind. A constitutional battle, First Amendment versus the right to a fair trial.
All right, he's in court tomorrow. We'll be watching.
What essentially happened here is Chud the Crud initiated the fight. He initiated the confrontation, which escalated into a shooting. And then he tried to play the victim. Well, there is a law called the initial aggressor rule, which states you cannot instigate a fight, wait for the other person to fight back, and then use force and claim it was self-defense. Case closed. It's as simple as that. You can't do that. And that is what this uncivilized mutt tried to do. And that is the same play that some of these uncivilized mutts are going to try to run when they get themselves caught up with rage baiting. They're going to get caught up, and some of them going to get their heads knocked off. In fact, a few of them already got dropped in the streets. Like I saw one get knocked out cold. I mean, cold. I don't understand why people start fights and they can't win. You know, like if you're going to start a fight, you got to be absolutely certain that you can win the fight. That makes sense to me. Like, I mean, I'm not saying go around bullying people, but if you're going to do something like that, at least make sure you can win the fight, because it is one thou embarrassing to get knocked out when you didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? So now you got these copycats running around like this guy I'm about to show you. This clown is trying to be a Chud the Builder because he's a nobody, right? He's a nobody, and he's trying to ride the coattails of a nobody, right? Chud the Crud, let's get this straight now. He is a nobody. Now, just because people know his name now he has some type of notoriety, does not mean he's not a nobody. He is still a nobody, because what he's known for is just being loud and aggressive and belligerent and rude and disrespectful. When I say anybody can do that, anybody can do that. That does not require a skill. You don't have to go to school to do that. You don't have to go to school to be disrespectful and loud and belligerent, rude and racist. You don't have to go to school to do that. You don't have to study to do that. You can just wake up and start shouting. It's as simple as that. You don't have to have any special qualifications to do that. All you have to have is the DNA of uncivilized mutts, and boom, it's gonna work out for you. Check this out.
Yeah, dude. What do y'all think about?
Don't say that.
Okay. I was just wondering.
What? Use the N-word.
What do y'all think about?
Don't say that.
I was just curious. No worries, though. Hey, y'all have a great day, man. Y'all have a good day. All right, dude. All right.
So he's just walking up to women, white women in the streets, white boy walking up to white women in the streets and asking them, what do you think about N-words? What do you think about it? Why is he so preoccupied with that? not answering to the N word, but, just for the sake of argument, we know that he's referring to black males, right? The entire race, right? What is these guys' obsession with black men? What is their obsession with black men? We know that they don't hate black women. We know that for a fact because there's too many of them want to have sex with them. And in fact, there's too many, even during slavery, they was, stepping out on their wives and other mistresses having sex with them. So we know that they ain't got no problem having sex with them. But when it comes to humanity, that part, when it comes to how they treat those black women, children's parents and, siblings, that's a different story, right? What is the obsession? That's what I'm trying to figure out. He's walking up to these women, asking them just out of nowhere, what do you think about me? What do you think about me? Now, but we know what you think about it, buddy. See, it's guys like that. These guys are cuckolds, They really do feel inferior to black men. So what they do is they act out of anger, out of rage because of their shortcomings. Because of their inferiority, they run around and they try to pretend that they are superior. But really, they know deep down inside they're inferior. This is why you'll get one of them who will crash out all the way, take a gun and go kill people, just indiscriminately shooting black folks who ain't never met him before, ain't never did nothing to him. And then when they get caught up, they blame it on the fact that black people are bad people and they're destroying the country and this and that. When people who look like them control every major industry in the country. So I'm just trying to figure out, if y'all control everything, how is it that black people have so much control? If y'all control everything, how is black people messing up everything? If you control the law enforcement, if you control Congress, if you control the municipalities, if you control the school system, you even control the arts, if you control transportation, how is black people messing up everything? Don't tell me nothing about violence, because most violence committed by black people are against black people. So you can't get me with that. Don't tell me nothing about that. Oh, you just don't like how we act. Oh, okay. But how does that affect your life? How does that change whether you get employment or not? How? It doesn't. You crash out because you know you're nothing. You crash out because you can't hack it. You can't do what millions of people around this country do every day. And that includes little kids and elderly people who go back to work or continue to work because they have to feed themselves and keep a roof over their head. You can't do it. You can't hack it. You don't want to do it. You don't want to follow the law. You don't want to follow authority. So you crash out because that's the easy way out for you. Because that's what cowards do. Woo, I know you. I know you. I've studied you. No more talk.